As we behold a new dawn, we enjoy the memories of days gone, and fresh breath drawn gives us hope as a season of fun. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Yes, it will be a day, but time would not permit me to continue to dazzle you all with my poetic prowess. I feel big, when it comes to that. Well, every year on this day, the world celebrates one of humanity's most treasured forms of cultural and linguistic expression and identity. Now, on this day, we also honor poets, revive oral traditions of poetry recitals, promote the reading, writing, and teaching of poetry, and promote poetry in collaboration with other art forms such as theater, dance, music, and painting. Nigeria has produced many famous poets, and we continue to see young Nigerians with a passion for poetry coming out of their shells. One such poet who is here with me in the studio is Babatunde Raimi, author of Love Leads, a collection of 100 love poems. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
And happy World Poetry Day.
Yeah, it's a good day for poets.
Great.
We're happy.
Right. Now, talk to us basically the place of poetry in life generally. One would say that, talking about the folk tales and songs and all of those things that we have, even language and expression, that poetry is in the center of all of those. But talk to us, how central is poetry?
It's very central because it comes from your heart.
Okay.
It comes from your soul. I'll take the words of Wordsworth that define poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, which takes its rhythm from emotion, laden in tranquility. Poetry is the record of the best and happiest moments of the best and happiest minds. So poetry is a tool for social justice.
Wow. All right, but having poetry in the center, how pivotal poetry has been in all of these, how much of that do we know today when we live on daily basis?
The thing is, poetry has not really been given its rightful place for reasons best known to whoever. And, I think that there's a poem in every man. So that time that you are in solitude.
I like that.
Yeah. So that time that you are in solitude, you are just thinking, there are these things in you. You want to express them. You don't know how. You want to explain something to somebody, but you just don't know how to put your words. So poetry helps you. Like me, when I'm happy, I write poems. When I'm sad, I write poems. And what we are doing now is to let people see that you can actually express yourself poetically. And to a large extent, poetry has rules. But so many people have been limited by so many rules that govern poetry. So I will just limit it to rhymes and free verses. So you don't need to be a professional poet. You could be an amateur poet and do free verses where the thing just flows from your mind. It doesn't have to end with shon,
all the rhymes.
Yeah.
But you talked about the issue of the rightful place of poetry. What is the rightful place of poetry?
You see, when we have celebrations, housewarming, birthdays, marriages, dedications, we call guest artists. I would say that a songwriter, not a musician now, a songwriter is a poet in a rush. Like, look at Two-Face. Two-Face said, if love was a crime, I like to go jail. Does it really mean that you want to go to jail because of a woman? No. So poetry helps you to paint pictures with words. Poetry makes you travel without traveling. It imprints images in your heart that you sit down, you just begin to imagine those things. You agree with me that as we are now, the election is coming up in Nigeria. Everywhere, everybody, we are in a state now where it's a state of discontentment, a state of disenchantment, and people like Wole Soyinka, people like Ode Ofemo, people like Kenneth Efe, people, these great people, Niyo Shundare, they have used poetry to advocate their cause. They have used poetry to advocate social justice. They have used poetry to advocate equality. They have used poetry and their artistic work in terms of their writing to put our leaders where they are supposed to be. Somehow, they might not listen to you, but when you write it with poetry, you live before you live. You L-I-V-E before you L-E-A-V-E. For instance, you can't refer to Shakespeare now and say, for instance, the works of late Shakespeare, because with poetry, you never die.
Yeah, he lives on. Shakespeare has really, given light to the world through his works and all of that. Now, let's talk about your Love Leads, a collection of all the poems that you put together. What is that about? Share with us.
My mom of blessed memory, she told me sometime in 2006, we were just discussing, then I said, if you were going to have a company now, like want to have a company together, what would you name it? She said, Love Leads. And I was like, name of a company. It's supposed to be in sync with what you are supposed to be doing. So she said, Love Leads. So when she died, that was when the word now sank into me, Love Leads. So now we are actually...
You saw that it was deeper than...
It was deeper than... As at that time, my understanding was small, So I now realize that love leads. So we're in a loveless world now where people are killing people for money, ritual, everything, nobody, So I now realize that it was deeper than that. So my mom was actually saying, whatever you do as a nation, as a person, let love lead. So what I now did was I put together a collection of love poems, I proposed to my wife poetically.
Wow.
So why do we need to do the traditional you want to propose? I've written over 68 poems for her already. And I have people who have met me to say, I want to write a poem for my wife. I want to write a poem for my daughter. It's my birthday. So slowly but surely, poets are beginning to take their place. We refuse to be gagged.
Well, that's amazing. So in the collection of the poems that you put together, what gives you the inspiration? Because you were talking about the spontaneous expression from the inside. What gives you your own inspiration?
To a large extent, I could look at you now and turn you to a poem.
Oh.
So when you are with a poet, you have to be careful because they could just turn you to poetry. So I get inspired easily by things around me. My favorite channel is 182 Nat Geo World.
Oh, okay.
I'm a nature person, so when I listen to Nat Geo World, my TV station doesn't go beyond Nat Geo World, CNN, Just News, and it brings me closer to nature. So I see people oppressed, I see people depressed, I see people suffering. I read poems, I see people happy. I'm inspired by people around me. What happens to them, whether good or bad. I just want to put it down in history so that history will be kind to me.
Well, that's really interesting. I'm going to give you this time for you to, do us one of the poems, one of your collections together. Let's understand it. Maybe I'll get to learn to become a better poet. I don't know, who knows?
Okay, that's fine. Let me give you one from the collection, Love Leads. I have about 618 poems already.
Wow.
So that's just a collection. So the title of this is Love. Okay, I think I dedicate this to my beautiful wife, Bewaji.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. Wifey, wherever you are, there's a dedication to you.
Hi. Okay, my love for you is like a candle that doesn't lose its flame, despite the breeze of trials blown. My love for you is like a fabric that doesn't wear, despite its frequent wash in the water of despair. My love for you is like a boat out in the sea that sinks not, despite the tempest storms. My love for you is like a rose flower whose fragrance lingers even when crushed. Bewaji, my love for you, constantly burning in my heart. Pure and eternal, my love for you is life.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. How did she feel when you wrote that for her?
Oh, she's my #1 fan. She usually tell me, she usually say, you have not written a poem for me today. You don't just sit down and write poems. Do you understand? You have to be inspired. So if you look at the human structure, the human structure as created by divinity is artistic. You can look at the structure and just create a poem. So what we are saying is that let us leave the world poetically. We want to propose, propose poetically. You have housewarming or whatever, start inviting poets. I'm also using this opportunity to encourage poets out there. Let's take this crusade to schools. Let's take it to organizations. Let's sponsor poetry competition. Let NGOs sponsor poetry competition because poetry is deep. For instance, if you look at the songs that you're having now, bing, bing, bang, 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 but when you look at poem-inspired songs, they never die.
They are the evergreens we always talk about. I totally agree with you on this. Babatunde Raimi, thank you so much for your coming on the program.
Thank
And
you
we
very
wish
much.
you well in the beautiful rhymes you put together. I can only just imagine how other people who are recipients of all of your poems will feel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I look forward to reading one of yours.
That would be amazing.
So that you also leave before you leave.
Very good. You will teach me how to rhyme all that and then put rhythm to it.
It's not
and
a
so on.
problem.
Thank you. Thank you.